The real news of the week is that Black people are admitting that they are afraid. Let me correct that. Black Americans are admitting that they are.
It's probably not all Black Americans. It's probably because you can't tell if everybody who made those are Black Americans.
Well, that's true.
But there could have been a lot of like immigrants, child immigrants.
Let's start over.
Black people in America.
People with darker or melanated skin have gone to the internet in the past week or so and admitted that they're afraid of people that come from what we describe as the hood, the ghetto, whatever the trap, whatever word you want to use, whatever adjective. People started going online and admitting that they're afraid of that, and it caused some level of discourse between people that feel that they're afraid and admitting that, and then other people that might be from those places being offended or upset, or some people that aren't from those places, but then they started caping for people that are in those places, saying that you're anti-Black if you feel like you're afraid of the hood or all that kind of shit. So it definitely led to a pretty large debate about that, because people were getting their Blackness questioned. Some people were saying that people defending the people in the hood are like you're anti-Black if you're saying,
and like we're falling for white people's tactics.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
Whatever
You know what we came to do? We came to tear people down. So let's do it. So for me,
we came to see both sides.
For me, I definitely do see both sides in this argument. So for one, where you want to start? You want to start with?
Well,
I'm afraid, or do you want to start with?
We can start with I'm afraid, since that's what like let's start with the original of the post. Yeah. So I get it. I don't think there's nothing anti-Black by being like, I feel like any race would be scared of a certain segment of people within their race.
Right.
Like if I was white, I would be scared of the kid that might seem like he's a little off. The kid that might shoot up the school. I might be scared of him. I'm scared of him even not being white. But I'm sure white people have their own category of people that they call like white trash that they're afraid of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Like
I don't think there's anything wrong with everything. Every group has a segment of people in their population that aren't good people.
I did explain this to somebody the other day because they asked me about on Love Is Blind when what's his name, the Black guy, Clay. He said, he was like, first of all, let's take a step back. First of all, Black people need to stop speaking in generalities for all Black people.
Yeah.
So Black people need to stop going on these public platforms and saying, this is how Black people think. This is what Black people feel. This is what Black people blah, blah, blah. Don't speak in generalities for anybody. So I don't like that he went on the show and said, well, in Black households, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Now,
especially when you have a white audience watching.
Right. You're not talking to us, right? You're not talking to a Black audience. If you want to do that in a Black audience where people are going to understand where you're coming from, then that makes sense. But that message shouldn't be spread to people that aren't within our community, because it's not going to make sense or translate, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing with the message he was trying to convey with that is it's true in a sense. We could go back to the government purposefully splitting up the Black households, and we can start from the conversation from there. But for me, we definitely got to stop speaking in these generic terms when it comes to
people. Generally need to stop doing that.
Because it's
men
weird.
Versus women. Men it's are weird. This, women are this, Black people are this. Like,
yeah. So to get back to the conversation at hand, like, yes, people were speaking up saying, like, because the reason why I brought that up is because Black people act like our experience is so unique, and also other cultures feel like our experience is so unique. But I think it's because maybe the cultural prominence.
Yeah.
But these same things exist in all other ethnic groups, which is what you were just saying, right? So because he was saying, in the Black household, nuclear family isn't something that's like taught and all that other stuff. But I'm like, that's across the board in every culture. Like, you don't have 2-parent households across the board in a lot of cultures.
Yeah, you
got absentees, you got divorcees, you got people cheating, you have all these different things. Because they were trying to say Black people cheat more and all that other stuff. And I'm like, these things happen in all cultures. Yeah. It's just Black culture is cool, so you see it in music.
If anything, it probably happens the most in others. Like, I promise you, especially these cultures where the dynamics of a marriage are so like old school. I like best believe there's a lot of cheating happening.
Yeah,
white, Indian, all those. So Middle Eastern.
These kind of conversations, like, they're not specific just to Black people, but I think that Black people make the mistake of having these kind of conversations in a public format, whereas you could just do it in a household, which is what I feel like other cultures do.
Yeah, that's what one girl said. Like, shh, Like,
Yeah,
let's
like
have these conversations inside.
like the whole black men don't cheat. Like that shouldn't necessarily be something that's like uh like a topic on a public platform. Like maybe that could be our individual kiki haha, like we have our little secret, but
Yeah,
these things shouldn't be
they put
widespread.
it in house.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in house. So
Keep it in the house.
let's keep things in house. Anyway,
Yeah.
back to the topic at hand. So
Yeah, I get what they were saying.
I feel them.
Like, I think the wording, and that's where we get to other side things. Yeah, the wording might not be the best because when people associate the word of hood and ghetto, a lot of people who are from the hood took offense when it's like I think that's just nuance. That's just linguistics. Like, we're not, that's just a word disconnect here. Like, I don't think people are mean anybody who's from the hood. I think the word hood is also synonymous with people who act like degenerates.
Yeah, which is what people are specifically talking about,
Yeah.
right? For example, like I'll just give the example. Like I watched an attempted robbery happen the other day when I was going to get lunch,
You literally
and
witnessed that.
you can guess the skin color, obviously, right?
I'm not gonna say what race.
Unfortunately, you're not gonna say what it was,
It was black
but
people.
they were 3 black people, and they were attempting to rob somebody, and they didn't actually even get able to rob them. So they're an embarrassment. How'd you not even get any money when you bum rushed them and didn't get any money out of it? But anyway,
Just like those guys in Philly that shot up that school bus
and then got
nobody
caught.
And nobody died.
Yeah,
They're like
point blank.
You shot 8 people. And you didn't get one hit, and now you're in jail for life.
And then they got you on cell phone tracker right
Yeah.
back to the crib.
Yeah, because the car was parked in front of the house.
Idiot. But
Guess what race? Guess what race it was?
in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
oh man, I don't know. That might be a total black.
I mean,
we sound anti-black.
are we just supposed to ignore the facts? Like,
yeah, like
and like we get the root. We get a lot of the reason why our people are what they are is because of the stuff that we went through in this country. I'm not gonna ignore that, but I also feel like there's ways like we can move on. We can move beyond. We could grow. Like, why are we gonna continue to let the white man win? Like, I don't understand.
yeah.
We're gonna just keep being ignorant and killing ourselves. Like Kanye just said in his interview, he said there is World War III right now, like in our community, literally.
Yeah, so when people are referring to being afraid, I don't think that that's a crazy concept that, yeah, maybe you don't want to be standing at a bus stop as a kid and you get lit up with over 30 shots of bullets that are raining down from your own ethnic group. Yeah. So when people are talking about hood people, it's not necessarily people that are in the hood because we all have friends. Most of the people I grew up with, that I was friends with, were from those places. It's not like they're bad people.
Some of our parents, my dad is from the hood.
Yeah, my
East
dad
New York.
is from...
Anyway, go Google East New York, Brooklyn right now.
One of the worst cities.
I just was there 2 days ago.
One of the worst cities in New Jersey.
Yeah, Patterson. Like, come on.
So it's not like hood people are bad, and my dad's my hero. But
and look at the thing too. Look at people like your dad and my dad. Where did they move to? Did they know themselves how bad it is? Where did they move their kids to? The suburbs to escape that for a reason.
Yeah,
like it's a reason.
Not everybody that's in the hood are bad people. Obviously, we know that. There's a lot of social workers that have done a lot of great things. There's a lot of teachers that go and teach in these school systems that...
There's a lot of smart people too.
There's a lot of smart people
like,
that
we
come
know
from
people who literally work at like big finance firms.
Making more money than all of us put together.
With no debt.
With no debt, no student loans because they were able to get the
leverage,
the financial aid. Like, so
yeah.
It's not everybody that's in the hood. What people are specifically talking about is the people that are going to be wearing ski masks in the summertime for no reason, toting guns for no reason, fighting over blocks that they don't own, being upset over colors, all that kind of stupid shit that's in our community. That's what we're specifically talking about.
And that's like a byproduct of the hood. We're not saying that hood people are bad. We're talking about there's a byproduct of the hood that produces bad people. Yeah, the survivor mode produces bad people.
The robberies and all that kind of stuff. People from the hood don't even go to the rich communities to rob. They rob from even people within their own community. So like, if that's the environment that people are speaking about, like those are the type of people. Like I have family in hoods all over the place. My family down south, we wouldn't consider that to be the hood necessarily because I don't think there's really hoods.
It's like country hood.
It's country hood, and there's also, of course, just regular hoods in certain spots. But the country hood, like trailers, all that kind of stuff. Like my family comes from a lot of these places. My dad's just an anomaly, really. So I love them all to death. So, but when it comes to a comfort level, you're gonna be looking over your shoulder every chance you get.
I love going to my grandma's house, but I'm not gonna lie. When I get there, it's take all your stuff out the bag. Like I might not bring certain stuff with me, and I might not wear certain things. And yeah, of course, crime can happen anywhere, but like we had to stop lying to ourselves. Like I hate when people like to lie. Like yeah, stuff happens anywhere. We could get robbed in the suburbs. My parents got robbed in freaking Italy. You know, dream vacation for some people, but you're more likely like is the stats are they don't lie. Like you're more likely to have an interaction like that around certain people, and that's just what it
Yeah,
is.
that's what it is. So
Like,
that's that perspective. Like,
yeah, like I get what they're
it's
saying,
dangerous, right?
and
Like
I hate
people,
that people are acting obtuse. Like we know what they're saying.
yeah, the people that have been getting murdered on the subway, messing up my commute. And what
Literally
areas
just
are they
happened
are?
yesterday or 2 days ago when I was in Brooklyn. Same day I was in Brooklyn. It
What
happened.
areas are they in? And also, what were their skin tones?
Yeah.
It's
Who
it's
pulled
not.
out the gun on that video that just happened in that incident that just happened?
I mean, she stabbed him though.
She did stab him.
She escalated it, but
She did
still,
escalate it, which is crazy. But
yeah.
let the two men scrap. You didn't need to get involved in that.
But yeah, that type of shit. Like we can't ignore these specific facts, and that's why people are saying that they're afraid. And
Yeah.
you know, the people in the hood are afraid of that shit too. They just don't have a way to get out of it. So I don't know why people
Exactly.
want to be obtuse and act like that's not scary.
Like people from the hood all the time, I hate living here. Like every day I'm like on
The
fear.
gunshots.
I can't wait to move. This is my motivation for doing good in school. Like come on, like why are we acting stupid?
Yeah.
Why are we
Now all of
playing
a sudden you
stupid?
take offense to it. I get it. It's where you're from, and you don't want to feel like it's slighted because you're from
Yeah.
a certain spot. But let's be honest, like that is the whole detriment of our community, and not that other people's perceptions matter, but they do matter.
Yeah, and we all know that's a crab in the barrel mentality. You know your people could do better. Like yes, there's disadvantages because of what happened to us in this country, but come on, if everybody like we can't just keep using that excuse forever. Like when are we gonna turn it around? So why do we have so many examples of people that have been able to do it successfully when they actually wanted to do it? Like especially
Yeah.
now in 2024 where there's so much resources. Like you go on social media and be inspired every day, hear people's stories every day. There's no excuses anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah, and from their perspective, people in the hood, of course,
Yeah.
to delve into it more specifically, like their perspective is people are taking so much from the culture that is created within these neighborhoods and the ghettos and all that kind of stuff. Like when it comes to clothing, music,
fashion. Yeah.
the speak, the language,
Yeah, a lot of AAV have come from the inner cities.
like just the lifestyle overall, which is 100% a fact. Like a majority of what's popular and is in the world really comes from those kind of things. If you go to Japan and you see the way that they get tattooed up and they're driving lowriders and candy paint and
acting like they repping a set.
and then wearing jerseys and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah, like all that kind of stuff literally comes from the ghettos
Or
of
like
America.
Rose, right? Who's from the suburbs, who has doctor and lawyer parents, throwing up gang signs and acting like she's from the hood. Like
Yeah, like yeah, all that kind of stuff is a fact. So their perspective is you're afraid, but you're still able to take the parts that you do like about it, but not the parts that you don't like about it.
yeah.
And so
Which is the
they are
valid
right
point.
about that.
That's
It's
a valid
100% a valid point.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't know
But
is
sorry to interrupt. The only reason why I feel like it's not necessarily a valid point though is because it's not like we said, it's not like we have any issue with the hood. We just have an issue with the byproduct that the hood creates, with people who actually try to live by those things. Like, and I still get it though because like we're still it's still like gang culture that's still dangerous. The people
Yeah.
that we are generally scared of, we are like some people are emulating that. So it's true.
but at the same time, it's not that the rest of the world is emulating the shooters and killers within the hood.
Yeah.
So it's not like the shooters and killers are responsible for the culture necessarily of the hood. It's just that
Yeah.
they're a part of an overall bigger picture.
Yeah.
So
Because gangs weren't created to be dangerous at first, right?
and black people didn't create gangs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Italians did, right?
Yeah. You could give them credit for that, I guess, a little bit.
Who else?
Organized crime. You said
Yeah.
who else?
Yeah. Who else would have credit for it? The Christian gangs.
So who are typically credited would be the Italians, the Irish. There were gangs that were in America, like gangs of New York, obviously.
Yeah, but
that-
when there's Italians.
Those were, though at that point they were considered. There were some Italians in it. There were a lot of Irish in it,
Oh yeah.
but
yeah.
they were considered. They were American gangs, so
like white Americans.
Yeah, white American gangs. But
So yeah, like we didn't necessarily create them, but yeah, like even when they were created in our neighborhoods, they wasn't created with the intent of violence.
yeah.
So like we can't credit the violence that made stuff popular. Like hood rat or hood culture doesn't always necessarily mean it's violent. So
Yeah.
we just don't support the violent people.
Yeah, we don't. That's
That's
basically
it.
all. That's basically the conversation. So people shouldn't be getting offended because they were saying you're anti-black if you're afraid of being in the
Yeah,
hood.
because they're
I feel like-
translating it as like, you know, like when white people hear a black person driving with music, they're scared.
Yeah,
No, I'm
nah.
not scared of somebody playing music. And I don't think that's what these people are saying.
Nah,
But if they're playing music and then they're out the window waving a gun and they're doing donuts in the parking lot and they're wearing ski masks like to cover their identity and they're like looking around and obviously got something tucked, then yeah, I'm scared.
yeah. For example,
If
and
they're
I,
drinking and driving, then yeah, I'm scared. Like,
Yeah,
they
it's
could
the-
kill me. Literally.
it's that kind of behavior. For example, like I was saying when I was watching that robbery happen,
Yeah.
what did the guy do? He reached inside his bubble vest,
Yeah.
acting like he was going to pull out a gun because somebody
Yeah.
was trying to stop and help the guy out.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
now
that
you're
kind of stuff.
scared. Like you
So-
wasn't scared because you saw a black man wearing a bubble coat. But when he puts his hand in, then yeah, I'm worried. I'm
Yeah,
scared.
when he rushes the guy to go rob him and then starts acting like he's reaching for something, then
Yeah.
that's different. So nobody's afraid of the
And you're
hood.
more likely to see that in the hood than you are in the
Like
suburbs.
I would go to the
Like,
hood all the time. Like
Yeah.
the better food is gonna be there.
Yeah.
It's more like it's just more. I feel like in line with our experience in a way because the music and that kind of stuff. Like if you're in the suburbs, you're gonna hear less of those kind of things.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna go if I think at any point somebody's gonna rob you.
Yeah. Like if you're getting bad vibes, like
Like when the police tell you not to go to a certain city after a certain time, like that's a problem. When the
Yeah.
police are telling you to do that, then that's a problem. And
Yeah.
that they're talking about our people when they're saying that. Like if it's a red light, just keep going because if you stop, somebody's gonna probably rob you at gunpoint. And
yeah.
so
It's just like the reality. It's almost like how like where I make the argument where I say like how women always seem to defend other women when it comes to like relationship problems with men. Like we have no context to what happened, why the relationship ended, but the women are automatically side with women. But then those same women have so many stories probably of beefs that they had with their own with other women. Like so much issues. Like women fight each other all the time. But then when it comes to a relationship ending, it's always the man's fault. I feel like that's like the same thing with this. It's like you are burned probably by your own kind so many times, robbed, scammed, killed. But then now you're gonna act stupid and defend them when you know that's the people that hurt you the most.
Yeah.
Like that, you know, it's just like insane.
I think
It's like people just want to be offended by everything.
yeah, I think the best way around this argument is the people that are afraid of going to the hood or the ghetto, they have a valid point in the sense that, yeah, there's a ton of danger. Actually, let me not say a ton because I don't want to say it that way. Let me reword this. The people that are
Higher
afraid,
percent.
yeah, the people that are afraid to go to the hood as black people,
Mhm.
they know, and I think it's a valid point that there is a higher chance that there's going to be some sort of violence or robberies or all of the different things that people would be afraid of going into an area. All of those things, the percentage of that happening goes up when you go into
Yeah.
the hood. Like
A lot higher than the suburbs.
A lot
It's just
higher.
a reality.
and there's too many stories of that happening. Like you see all the stories that happen in LA. You just show up in LA and somebody thinks you might have money and you're going to get robbed. Like these are not
And I'm sure every person has a story in regards to the hood or something.
Yeah.
Happens to them. I have zero stories in the suburbs. I might have to deal with some white people and their racism. That's a whole nother conversation. But I have zero stories of robberies and violence in my suburban community.
yeah,
But
so
in New York and Brooklyn, seen some things. Didn't experience nothing personally, thank God, but a lot of people in my family have. A freaking uncle got his car robbed and had to shoot at his own car to get it back, like back in the 90s. Too many stories.
yeah. So they're valid with being afraid of going to the hood because it is just more dangerous. Like
Yeah.
there's not as much danger in the suburbs. And the people that are in the hood, they have a valid point in that there is some level of the culture that does get taken and spread around the world. And you can't really come from the perspective of, oh, we want to enjoy your music, your fashion taste, the language, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then all of the negatives that come with it,
Yeah.
then we don't want that. Because that's similar to appropriating from any other culture.
Yeah.
So like even within our own cultures, there could be some level of appropriation. So I think both
Yeah.
sides are right. But to say that somebody's anti-black because they're afraid of getting killed
Yeah.
when you see everything that happens on the news every single day of something crazy happening, like,
We just got a notification earlier that 3 people were shot in Philly, and the guy is hiding out in Trenton, New Jersey.
yeah. So, or all the people that have gotten killed or pushed onto the train tracks, because I'm in New York more than I'm in New Jersey, but we see these things all the time. So people are valid in the sense that they should be afraid because I think people from the hood are afraid of being in the hood too.
Yeah, that's why they leave.
That's why they try to leave. And also people in the hood, there's a valid stance that a lot of the culture does get ripped
Yeah.
and spread around the world, although people around the world are not taking from the murderers
Not all,
and
but some people are
robberies.
though, because some people are emulating the whole smoking on that thing pack.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, some
That
people
is
are,
true.
you know,
Killing my ops. Well, yeah, the word
yeah,
ops
the
and all that kind of
ops.
stuff. That's
Yeah,
true.
so people are definitely leaning into that whole killer thing still. So that's why I do understand that perspective.
I think both sides are true, but I don't think that you can say that somebody's anti-black because they're afraid of.
Yeah, like
the
black
hood.
people, like calling other black people anti-black.
Yeah, no,
Like
you're
the only
anti-black if
issue-
you're promoting that type of
Yeah.
stuff.
And the only issue, like I said earlier, is if you're the type of person, even black, that's scared of somebody just driving around with the music, somebody just wearing like what they consider urban clothes. If you're scared like that, then that is kind of anti-black. But being scared of somebody who visibly looks like they're here to cause trouble, like you could just tell. Like humans are not stupid. That's why we have intuition, we have body language analysis for a reason. You could tell when somebody's up to no good when they're looking around, their hands reach somewhere. You could just tell. Like you ever like hear stories where people knew like a shooting was about to happen. Like there's something just happened yesterday in Kansas City, and the guy was like, I think I don't know if nobody died, but he was like, I saw the guy like looking around being weird. I knew something was about to go down. Like people, you just have that intuition. That's not being anti-black.
We were in a club one time where that happened, where I don't necessarily believe in the concept of the devil, but I feel like when we were in the club and it was the Crips that were in there, right?
I think. Oh yeah.
I looked into right before
That was in college.
Right before that popped off.
Oh my god.
I looked into one of the guys. We just made eye contact for just some reason. Like I just was looking around and we just made eye contact, and I feel like I saw the devil in that moment. And then shortly after,
Didn't we like dip?
yeah, we ran out. We ran out.
Oh yeah, we was acting
weren't
mad
sure
scary.
if there was
we was acting.
Yeah, no, because I wasn't sure if there was a weapon that was being drawn. All I saw was a commotion and people getting tossed.
We ran.
Yeah, we was out of
there. Oh
there.
my god, that was like freshman year, right, or sophomore year?
But yeah, we had that intuition.
Was that Bliss?
Yeah,
Bliss is closed now.
I was looking around and I was like,
That's
nah.
so crazy.
I was like, his look was crazy. Like the way he was just sitting there. And then it wasn't him that actually did it. It was his man's, but still.
You just knew they was up to
I
no
could just
good,
tell
right?
like there was something about to happen.
That was kind of like when that shooting that happened at the Halloween party in 2017 in New Brunswick. That was like that was crazy. Like we were by the door, but like my friend at the time, she had an intuition, and we all were like, all right, let's go to the door. Then we heard boop boop boop, and we ran. Ooh, man, crazy times. But it's just like you just know, like there's a difference between just being scared of anybody. Like if me and you were walking around and playing music, and people were acting like they were scared of us, that's anti-black because clearly they don't know us. We're not posing a threat. We're just listening to music. But if you're scared of somebody who's visibly, obviously a threat, that's not being anti-black.
Yeah, that's just
and that's what I think all these people are talking about in these. I'm not afraid to admit trend. I think that's what they're talking about here. Like people took it to heart. Like this one girl was crying. Like I'm from the hood, and I just feel like people have always judged me. I'm like, ugh, here we go. Womp, womp, womp. Because nobody's talking about you. We're not scared of you. Nobody's talking about you. Like, I can't. Yeah. So my stance, I'm scared of some of these rats. I am. I'm scared of some of these white people too, who look threatening. I'm scared of an Indian person who might look threatening. Yeah. I'm scared of a Hispanic person that might look threatening. I'm scared of a Middle Eastern person that might look like a threat. Like I'm scared of anybody who looks like a threat. There's no race to that.
Yeah, anywhere I'm not gonna feel comfortable is gonna be a threat. It's just not specific to our community. I would feel the same level of discomfort walking through the Bronx right now that I would feel walking through any sundown town in the South.
Or if we walking through an area, like if we were on vacation and we knew it was an area that's kind of risky, like in Mexico. Yeah. Like if you're going to near the freaking, what are they called down there? Like the like not the mafia, the people in Mexico who
the cartel.
The cartel. If I'm in an area and I seem like the cartel's doing something, I'm scared of them too. Like it's not a race thing. I think with this trend in specific, they were bringing up race because they were just saying black to black people. Like I'm scared of some of my own, which is not crazy. I think anybody's scared of some of their own.
Yeah,
we feel each other more than any other race does.
Yeah,
so.
I'm weary of any place I go. Anywhere we travel to, there's always going to be something somewhere. So it doesn't matter the race to me. I'm not more afraid of black people than I am of anybody else.
Yeah.
Actually, in the big scheme of things, I'm actually least afraid of black people compared to all other cultures because we live.
At least you feel like.
It's something I'm aware of. I have the most knowledge about it, but also we live in America. So when you go to some of these other cultures, their version of that is a lot different because they don't have the affluence that's in America. Because the worst hoods in America are paradises compared to some of the other places in the world. So for them, I'm way more scared of going to these cultures and some of these other places because
Yeah.
they for them it's survival. Over here it's survival, but it's not in
It's a
the same
different type,
way
yeah.
because they don't have government assistance. They don't have these kind of things. They couldn't even go into a trash can to get food because there ain't even a trash can to
Yeah.
get food out of. As we're here,
No food
you could have
shelters.
homeless people
Yeah.
that are eating good.
Yeah.
I be seeing homeless people with good sneakers on.
Yeah.
In these other places, it's not so much. So for me, yeah, I think both points are valid.
Yeah, and I just think on the anti-black thing is funny too because then if you look at the continent with the most black people in this world, they do tribal wars all the time. Like they kill each other. Skin folk, there's no skin folk, kin folks last time. It's because they killing each other in mass over there. Like a lot of those genocides are started from other people with the same skin tone. They just have different tribal backgrounds, different tribes. So this whole anti-black thing is kind of funny to me, like especially when that's what's happening in the motherland, So I just don't understand people, but people need to stop being so offended. That's all. Like there has to be a middle ground and seeing all sides, and stop being so obtuse and stupid, and stop looking to be offended. But yeah,
Yep.
I'm scared of the hood rats. See, I always got to end like a good statement with being ignorant, but I'm serious. I am. I'm scared of them. Be holding my bag. I'd be like this. Only when they look like a threat, though.